Happy Thanksgiving, Ray.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jeff. Did you see that wild turkey that just ran by?
Yeah, I did. They always seem extra nervous about this time of year, but wild turkeys aren't that uncommon of a sight here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
That is true. So we're standing next to Iona Lake in the small town of Albany, New Hampshire, right off Route 16. It's not that large of a lake, but it's pretty and nestled here in the White Mountains.
It is pretty. There are places to picnic nearby, and of course, many thousands of acres of forest and mountains where you can get lost.
Is that why we're here? Was something lost around here?
Not just something, someone. We've come to Albany, New Hampshire to search for Pamela Hollingworth, a 5-year-old girl who went missing. I'm Jeff Belanger.
And I'm Ray Auger, and welcome to episode 275, the Thanksgiving special of the New England Legends podcast. Thanks for joining us on our mission to chronicle every legend in New England, one story at a time.
We're thankful for you. We really are. And if you appreciate us in your lives each week, we'd love it if you'd post a review for us on Apple Podcasts, or share an episode on your social media, or tell a friend or two about the show. You are the way we grow. And not only can you subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts for absolutely free, you can also listen to us each week on WMRC MyFM 101.3 radio in Milford, Massachusetts. If you know a local radio station who would like to broadcast our episodes, have them reach out. Won't cost them a dime.
Now, before we go searching for little lost Pamela Hollingworth, we want to take just a minute to tell you about our sponsor, Nuati Herbals.
Actually, Ray, before we thank Nuati Herbals for not only having our back for so many episodes now, and for all their great teas and other all-natural products, Nuati Herbals founder Rod Jackson has a message for us.
Kimberly and I wanted to thank both Jeff and Ray for all you do to promote Nuati Herbals. And to all the thousands of New England Legends podcast listeners, we appreciate your support and the many orders you've sent in. The entire Nuati team wishes everyone a safe, healthy, and happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you, Rod. To you, Kimberly, and everyone at Nuati Herbals, we appreciate you as well. Please support the people who are supporting us. The holidays are here, and don't forget that Nuati Herbals makes many great gifts for the people in your lives.
Let Nuati Herbals help support your healthy lifestyle. Check out the Nuati Herbals website to see all their great products, and you get 20% off your order when you use the promo code LEGENDS20 at checkout. Visit NuatiHerbals.com. That's Nuwati, herbals with an S.com.
Okay, Jeff, we're both dads.
We are.
I can't think of anything worse than to have one of your kids go missing.
No, I totally agree. So scary. And we've all been in the grocery store, or department store or something, and your kid's right behind you.
Oh, yep. You turn around for a second to look at something, and when you look back, your kid is gone.
Yeah.
Your heart starts to race. You start yelling out their name. You're sweating.
My kid's been kidnapped. She fell into something, and
then they come out from behind like some clothes rack or something, just giggling.
Yeah. And missing for 30 or 40 seconds, right, in a crowded store.
Oh, my gosh. But we're out here in the woods of Albany, New Hampshire, looking for a lost little girl. That's an entirely different experience.
No, it is for sure. The woods have animals, dangerous pitfalls, and unpredictable weather. So let's head back to 1941 and search for this lost little girl.
It's Sunday, September 28th, 1941, and the Hollingworth family is taking a ride up north from their Dunstable, Massachusetts home. Dunstable sits on the border of New Hampshire between Pepperell and Lowell.
The skies are clear, the air is just brisk enough for early fall, and it's prime leaf-peeping weather. In New Hampshire, the colors are beginning to peak.
At the wheel of the family car is Joe Hollingworth. Beside him, his wife, Blanche, his mother-in-law, Minnie, and his father, also named Joe, are also in the car. In tow are his 9-year-old son, Ted, and 5-year-old daughter, Pamela, who everyone calls Pammy. The plan is to head to the White Ledge Forest Park in the White Mountains of New Hampshire for a picnic. He's going to grill some steaks while the family admires the foliage.
But when Joe asks one of the park attendants about grilling, he learns White Ledge Forest Park doesn't allow it. Too bad. Still, Joe is undeterred. He's going to make this a great family picnic. So they head further north just a few miles to the shore of Iona Lake, where they can cook and enjoy the scenery.
Joe cooks the steaks while his kids play by the water. After lunch, Joe takes some pictures of the kids.
Oh, look at those big smiles.
The grown-ups are sitting around the picnic area chatting while the two children run back down to the lake. It's a perfect New England fall day. The leaves are glorious, explosions of reds and yellows and oranges. Even for us locals who see it a lot, it's really an impressive sight.
It is. It's absolutely stunning. And it's easy to lose track of time staring at the beauty of nature like this. But pretty soon, young Ted comes skipping back toward his family.
Joe is the first to notice Ted's sister isn't with him. When he asks his son where Pammy is, Ted's confused. He had assumed his sister wandered back to the family. No big deal. They'd only been gone a few minutes, so Joe heads down to the lakeside where it meets the stream. She must be near there. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. But when Joe reaches the water's edge, there's no sign of Pammy.
Joe's walking up the hill next to the stream and calling out to his daughter.
Pammy! Pammy!
But there's no sign of Pamela. Joe quickly rounds up his family so they can spread out and search for the 5-year-old girl. Joe also asks some of the other picnickers in the park to drive to the ranger station and fetch the authorities.
This is scary. But how far could she have gone? It's only been a few minutes.
Right, but even 10 to 15 minutes of her wandering in the wrong direction could put her pretty far from here. Pretty soon, other people in the park also join the search. 5-year-old Pamela has blue eyes, brown hair that's braided and tied in a blue ribbon, and she weighs about 45 pounds. She's wearing green corduroy overalls and red sneakers.
Let's join the search.
Yeah.
Pammy!
Pamela!
Pammy!
Hey, Pam!
I'm sure we'll find her. With all these people looking now and the authorities on their way, I'm sure it won't be long.
It's 3:30. It's been an hour and no sign of young Pamela. More people are arriving to join the search.
I think any of us who are parents can only imagine how scary this is. Who wouldn't volunteer to help search for a missing child?
4:30. 5:30. Ray, it's getting dark and temperatures are dropping.
Pammy!
As night falls, Mr. and Mrs. Hollingworth are now in full panic mode. Pammy's been missing for hours. There are bears in these woods and other predators. Or what if she was kidnapped? Every horrible possibility is on the table right now.
More people are arriving to help in the search. They're bringing flashlights and lanterns, plus food and water for the search party.
7:30 p.m. 8:30 p.m. As the temperature dips into the 40s and then the 30s, everyone is getting concerned. By midnight, it's 32 degrees, freezing. Still, the search party isn't giving up hope.
One local doctor who is helping with the search makes the point that unlike adults who tend to sit down and rest when they're lost, children tend to keep moving. When they keep moving, they can stay warmer. Plus, hypothermia is a bigger risk in water and bad weather. When your skin gets wet, it's tougher to warm up. Thankfully, tonight is dry.
4 in the morning. 5 in the morning. Day is breaking and there's no sign of young Pamela. No one has found so much as a footprint.
It's noon on September 29th. Joe Hollingworth is forced to take a break from searching. He's got an infection on his shoulder, and he can barely stand up from exhaustion. Scores of additional men are pulling into the area around Iona Lake. 100 soldiers from Fort Devens in Massachusetts have arrived to help in the search. 50 WPA and NYA workers are here to help. And more concerned locals keep arriving by the carload. And now, 2 airplanes are circling overhead to see if they can spot the young girl from the air. And bloodhounds have been brought in to see if they can track down Pamela.
It's afternoon, 24 hours since Pamela has gone missing, and I'd estimate there are about 500 people searching for her now. A campsite's been set up in nearby White Ledge. The U.S. Forest Service arrives with a truck featuring a huge loudspeaker. Joe jumps on board to call to his daughter over the booming speakers.
Pammy, this is your daddy speaking. If you can hear me, go to the men in the woods who are looking for you. If you're stuck anywhere, yell and these men will come to you.
Mr. Hollingworth tells his daughter through the megaphone not to be scared, but meanwhile, he's petrified.
Maps are drawn. An area of 4.5 square miles have been thoroughly searched with no sign of young Pamela.
Think about this. Walking 2 miles per hour in the woods is about a normal pace. I'm sure that Pamela has walked in some circles, probably double-backed, but still, if she walked for 8 of the last 24 hours, she could be 16 miles away right now. Night is falling, as is the temperature. And just before dusk, someone discovers a small set of footprints by the lakeside. They look fresh. Some volunteers follow the prints for about a quarter of a mile before they see no other trace. It's night now. The temperature's 24 degrees. It's below freezing. As the search party shivers in their tents, they can only imagine what it must be like for a 5-year-old, 45-pound girl out there in the cold.
It's Tuesday when we hit the 48-hour mark since Pamela went missing. She's out there with no food or water, and not much clothes for the colder nights. As night falls, so too does the rain. By Wednesday morning, overnight rain has soaked the region. A cold front has moved in, and the temperature is 20 degrees. Some of the volunteers are losing any hope of finding Pammy alive. At this point, this may be a recovery operation.
Meanwhile, the rest of the Hollingworth family are staying at a lodge in nearby Conway, waiting for any kind of word on their lost daughter. Joe is still helping with the search. He's not leaving here without his daughter. 500 grown men can cover a lot of square miles. Why haven't they found her yet?
Word of Pamela's disappearance is flooding the local newspapers and radio stations. Everyone is concerned. It's Wednesday, October 1st, when a tip comes into authorities. It seems a local woman claims she saw a girl wandering by the road a few days earlier. And now thoughts of a possible kidnapping boil to the forefront. Police had a suspect in mind, too, a 30-year-old North Conway man who had previously been arrested for sexual offenses. The police bring him in for questioning, but they have nothing on him other than the fact that he has a criminal past, so they're forced to let him go.
It's Thursday, day 5. Cold and cloudy. Hopes of a rescue are almost gone. 3 conservation officers head out onto Iona Lake to drag the waters looking for a body.
The fact that the officers find nothing after hours of searching is both a blessing and a curse.
It's Friday, day 6. A local sheriff adds a new theory. Maybe Pamela wandered onto the road, was struck and killed by a motorist who then panicked and hid the body.
Oh, that's awful. But yes, it could explain the girl completely disappearing. More optimistic people in the rescue party figure that if Pamela is still alive, she must have taken shelter somewhere, an old barn, cave, or any other kind of structure. So the search party moves to nearby houses and other properties. Plus, time for the search party is running out. By Sunday, the soldiers will need to return to their base, as will many of the other volunteers.
But before everyone gives up hope of a rescue or recovery of Pamela's body, Saturday arrives with about 1,000 volunteers from Lowell, Massachusetts, the Hollingworth's hometown region.
Authorities estimate that there's about 1,500 people searching for Pammy, or her remains right now. But the search is taking its toll. One volunteer suffers a heart attack. Dozens are being treated for cuts and bruises. But the worst part? There's still no sign of Pammy or her body.
Sunday, day 7. It's been a week since Pamela went missing. By the late afternoon, the search parties are breaking up to go home. A small set of footprints were found on a trail, but no child was found. The thought is that maybe in a few more weeks, when the leaves fall, there'll be more visibility to look for her body.
The other side of the coin is that falling leaves may obscure the girl's body. Every prospect right now is awful.
It's Monday, October 6th, day 8 of the search. Police are chasing more leads. One woman said she recalls seeing a little girl sitting by the side of the road a few days ago, which only furthers a local sheriff's belief that Pamela may have been struck by a car and left for dead by the side of the road or hidden out of panic. It's a dark day. There's just no way a 45-pound girl could survive 8 days without food, shelter, and very little clothes in freezing temperatures.
Still, there's a few volunteers out in the woods still searching. Joe Hollingworth hasn't given up either, though even Joe has to face the reality of just how bad these odds are.
It's about 5 p.m. 2 volunteers, Bill Matson and Rusty Ramazzo, with the Civilian Conservation Corps, are hiking along the Middle Sister Trail on the north side of Mount Shakurua. With the sun setting, they need to call it a day and head back down the trail. But that's when the pair hears something. Hi. Bill and Rusty run toward the sound. Come on, Ray, let's follow them.
I can't believe it. Is that?
I think it is. I mean, her clothes are tattered, but she's standing up and she looks okay. It's Pammy.
We found her. We're coming in.
Bill and Rusty radio to base camp that Pammy has been found alive. Joe hops in one of the military jeeps that's been helping out with the search. The jeep takes Joe as far up the trail as it can, until Joe hops out and sprints the rest of the way up the trail until he scoops up his daughter and carries her back down the mountain. An ambulance takes young Pammy and her dad to the hospital in North Conway. Her feet have some bad frostbite, but she's going to be okay. And that brings us back to today.
To call this story of survival and rescue a miracle seems like an understatement. Pamela Hollingworth spent 8 days in the White Mountains in early October. 5 years old, 45 pounds, she had no food, and she would later explain that she drank from the brook when she was either thirsty or hungry. She said she slept in a hole that she covered up with leaves for a blanket. She'd lost about 8 pounds, which is close to 20% of her body weight. And her biggest medical concern at the hospital was terribly frostbitten feet. They'd swollen to double their size. However, after spending 19 days in the hospital, she made a full recovery.
New England rejoiced. Elected officials commented on how well the search team and community came together for the sake of one family and one little girl. Joe Hollingworth was a guest on multiple radio programs where he profusely thanked anyone and everyone who helped look for the lost little girl.
Against all odds, an entire region came together for the sake of a single person. It kind of gives you some hope, doesn't it? A reason to be thankful that we live where neighbors know that neighbors matter. And that brings us to After the Legend, where we take a deeper dive into this week's story and sometimes veer off course right into the gravy boat.
After the Legend is brought to you by our Patreon patrons. For just $3 per month, our patrons get early access to new episodes, plus bonus episodes and content that no one else gets to hear. Plus, they sleep a little better knowing they're directly supporting a show they enjoy. We're thankful to each and every one of our patrons.
We absolutely are. Ray, be honest, were you worried we wouldn't find Pammy Hollingworth alive?
Absolutely.
What kind of Thanksgiving special would that be? But no, what a story. I found this in the old newspaper archives. The Boston Globe newspaper, October 7th, 1941, had so many details, including photos. And if you would like to see some of those photos, head to our website.
I would. Where do I go?
Head to our website.
Okay.
Click on this episode, and you'll see all about it.
Now?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's a little early. It's a little early. But anyway, no. What a story of Thanksgiving, right? To be thankful for finding your lost child. I remember
smart kid, huh?
Unbelievable. 5 years old. Thought to cover herself up with leaves in a hole.
Yep.
I mean,
that's where your mind that they
instinct.
unlock that part in the mind that we don't even know what's in there until you're in that situation.
Incredible.
And then something knocks on the door and says, "Hey, let me in.
Yeah, I
can fix this. Take some leaves."
Right.
And then she probably didn't even remember half the stuff.
Primal, very primal. No, it's an incredible story. So Pamela died back in 1992. She was 56 years old. She had an illness. I know it's kind of young, but if you think about it, she got 51 more years.
That's true.
Than just about anybody else would have got.
I mean, what's going through your mind as a father or a mother or whatever?
Forget it.
Or just anybody.
Couldn't do it. I remember, so social media now, we could talk about what a curse it is on society, but when a kid goes missing,
oh my God,
and they're local, and the police start sharing pictures and saying this person's been missing since 3 hours ago, because I'm always share, post, repost, and I know in my town that happened last year, and I've never seen something so viral so fast.
Yep.
And if it was me, I'd be like, please, I need everyone to reshare this. So of course I did, and then it was like 5-6 hours, and they're reporting we found the kid, he's okay, everything's fine, and you're just like, how awesome is that, right?
Yeah.
So that's
a search party.
That's a search party.
Yeah.
We're digitally searching. Everybody in town found out virally in a matter of a couple of hours.
Yep.
And we know what the kid looks like. We know where he was seen last, and everybody's when you're driving around, you're looking around for any kid, anything you can do to help, because if that was my kid, please, I need everybody's help. And I think that's pretty cool. Like whenever you lose faith in humanity, stories like this happen, and you remember that when it's really real, when like division goes away, entirely, right? And how thankful that, and it's a shame it takes something like this, But, do you think anyone was arguing politics in the woods?
No.
Right? They're just
Well, whenever there's a tragedy,
Yep.
nationally, a world tragedy, or in a case like this, we do come together.
Yep.
We forget about everything.
brings out the best.
Yeah.
And it's
not that we want these things to happen to
Nope.
bring everyone together, but
it's a good reminder that when we're really up against the wall, we look out for each other, we help each other. And I'm thankful for that.
yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
a day to be thankful, Thanksgiving Day. So our podcast usually comes out at noon on Thursdays, except on Thanksgiving Day.
It's a little gift from us to you.
We post it early in the morning
Well,
because
most people do their driving
that's-
early in the morning.
That's when that's when I'm in the car. My whole life, we went to Grandma's house early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day because that was the best traffic.
Now, are you going to tell people to hang tight when you post this? You're going to say, hang on. I know it sounds depressing,
No,
but just wait.
Nope.
I'm just thinking like families and cars
Yeah.
and
no.
you're not going to tell them?
There's no payoff if you do that.
Okay, all right.
So if you've stayed with us this long, no, this was crafted this way quite intentionally.
Yeah.
I want people to be like, you're kidding me. You're feelings, because then the
I don't
emotional
want to scare any kids in the back seat.
the emotional payoff is amazing. Kids are amazing. That's the other part of the story. Kids are incredible.
Yeah, we don't give them enough credit.
Nope, a 5-year-old figured out a way to survive.
So we were at the Topsfield Fair about a month ago.
Sure.
And
Topsfield, Massachusetts.
my buddy's daughter wandered off. She's 10, but still 10 years old is still young. Now we kind of let our kids wander a bit, but the place was crowded and there were 8 of us pretty much holding on to each other as we're navigating our way through the rides in the midway.
Because you can lose adults.
Huh?
You can-
Right,
yeah.
exactly. We have phones and stuff.
Right.
Well, kids do too. She didn't have her phone. Anyway, she disappeared. She just we all look around and Sydney's gone.
Yep.
And when she's like, I don't know how high that is, but she's very short.
Yeah.
And there's just a sea of tall people. Somebody could have grabbed her. Mm-hmm. And like we mentioned in this, you start walking, then you can get pretty far without stopping and sitting down. And who knows what direction she went in.
Right.
Anyway, you're going in the opposite direction. She's still going in another direction. And we found her. She found a police officer.
Good for her.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then she just went up and she said, munching on her ice cream and like, I'm lost. That's it. She,
Good for her.
It didn't seem
Keep
to
it cool.
bother her at all.
Yeah.
And then we found her after like 10 minutes.
But
it was scary. Yeah.
Frightening 10 minutes. And I remember when my daughter once, she was just old enough. We're in the grocery store. Like, why don't you go get the bananas? Right? Like this is a
Big girl job.
This is a 30-foot trek, right? Like over there, we're in the produce. The bananas are over there. We're gonna this is a little thing. Like here, go off the leash a little bit. And sure enough, like she's going to get the bananas, and I'm turned my back and got whatever I was getting, and she got lost. I mean, she didn't get lost, but like she didn't see us,
Right.
And she the just starting to like, and then it was seconds, 10, 15 seconds, and she was like, I didn't see you, and like, but we were here, and we found each other, and we just sort of talked about like, at that point, when you're really scared and in trouble, you got to throw yourself at the mercy of an adult. Like, so find someone who works there, find a police officer, someone professional like that, and that's your best chance.
Or talk about a place to meet.
Right.
If anybody gets lost, we meet here.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so, have a plan or whatever, but because this is every parent out there, I guarantee you, has had that moment of the grocery store moment. You turn around, the kid wandered off, and oh my gosh, seconds, but frightening seconds.
Annie, my daughter, was like 5 or 6, and we were at the radio station, and we're running down the hallway, and I'm chasing her.
Yeah.
And I dart to the right in another hallway.
Sure.
Just to like, I guess, scare her a little bit.
Of course.
Thought she did.
We've all done
Where's
it.
Daddy?
Yeah.
She starts screaming and crying when she turns around and sees that I'm not behind her.
You monster.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
You
and
monster.
But don't leave your kids anywhere.
No, I know, of course.
Make sure you know where they are. And then there was something about Jack that Molly remembers. I don't. He was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And just turned around to grab a toy at a store, and she couldn't see him. And
So-
it was only literally like 10 seconds. But
Yeah, but it's
enough.
It's our biggest fear. We lose our kid. So let's be honest. You and I are lost in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. How long will we last?
Not long at all.
20, 30 minutes?
Maybe. I mean, I've got some Boy Scout experience, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah, just feel like
I watch those shows where they're starting fires with sticks and stuff. I don't think I could have, and I see it and I know it. It's in my head.
Yeah.
But if I'm in that position, I don't know if I could actually do it.
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, some of those survival shows where I know people like, I could live off the grid. I'm like, good for you. That's awesome.
I like the people that get on those shows and then realize after half a day, oh, this isn't for me.
No, I can't
I was watching Alone. I think it's called Alone.
Oh, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
And the first season, one guy lasted half an episode.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I thought this was going to be different. And they're out there just nothing. They got nothing. They got a camera.
Yeah.
Some spare batteries, and that's it.
And he's like, and what time does Starbucks close around here? Like, I thought
we were staying at a hotel at night, and we're filming during the day.
I need a latte before I get this fire started. So point me. Like, what's the...
Yeah, and a book of matches, please.
Yeah, and I'm going to need to be glamping here. Can you back up that RV that, the one that's like a transformer, it spreads out and then, has all the other amenities that we love so dearly. We're so very thankful that you're with us on our adventures throughout time and space each and every week, but especially today on Thanksgiving. Please help us out by spreading the word about what we do. Visit our website to see dates for my ongoing story tour and Ray's band, the Pub Kings, so you can see their schedule. Thank you to all the great voice actors who've helped us over the past year, and thank you to everyone who's been supporting us and cheering for us. Really appreciate it.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Nuwadi Herbals. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. And our theme music is by John Judd.
Until next time, remember,
the bazaar is closer than you think.